Hey everyone, Cahlen here, and I figured it might be good for me to talk a little bit about how I sit cross-legged on the ground. Many of you know I basically live outside. I've been living outside for more than a year. This is just a big tarp that I'm sleeping under right now, and this is the backpack that I live out of, and this is the sleeping pad, right, which I've kind of constructed out of a few different things. So I sleep on this. This is my bed, but it's also what I sit on. So this is where, when I'm not out doing stuff in the garden or doing like a qigong standing meditation, that I'm usually in here, either sitting cross-legged or laying down against the backpack. So being able to sit on the ground for this type of scenario that I'm in, where I'm trying to live really super minimally, like, you really need to not be carrying things with you. And one of the things that people carry with them, which seems really excessive to me when they're backpacking, is they'll carry like a little chair. And these chairs can get pretty advanced, down to being like maybe even weighing like 1 pound or something like that. But 1 pound is a lot to be carrying, especially if you really don't need to be sitting on anything. It's actually not natural for you to be sitting on a chair. It's actually more natural to be sitting on the ground, like either squatted down or in a cross-legged position. So it's not something that you can just jump right into. In my early 20s, I spent a year training to be a Zen monk at a monastery, where some weeks we were meditating 18 hours a day, basically sitting still. And so I have a lot of experience with that. And also when I was working in the gaming industry, I didn't have a normal desk. I took a little low table and pulled it over in front of my desk, and I sat on the table cross-legged, and everyone thought it was kind of crazy, and HR was like a little concerned. But I've trained myself for a long period of time to be able to sit like this. So I don't want to give you an impression that if you don't normally sit like this, that you're going to be able to just come and sit like this. Like what I'm doing right now, most people who sit for meditation, they usually have a pillow underneath their butt, which is lifting up their seat, and you generally need that. But I've been doing this so long, I don't even have a seat. I just sit straight on the ground. And so I've tried lots of different meditation situations. There's the Burmese, where you put one foot in front of the other, but I find this is it makes the spine off, right? And if you need to make sure that you're switching 50-50, so you're not getting your spine off in one direction more often than the other. But what I do, some people will sit like full lotus, or this is half lotus, right? So you got the foot way up here, right up against your hip, right? And then you have the other foot underneath. And then some people can go full lotus, right? Oh, I guess I can go full lotus. Didn't realize that. That's cool. So anyways, this is basically full lotus, but it's not comfortable. And I would say you don't want to be sitting in a comfortable position. Like my bone right here is really pushing against the other bone. It feels like it's going to bruise if it was there to stay for 5 minutes. I feel a little bit of a pinch in my knee. So basically, you can really screw yourself up if you're hurting. Like Zen has this whole fetish with pain, but people get really screwed up. I basically lost like 3/4 of my 20s to how badly I fucked up my body sitting that much, right? Forcing myself through the pain and stuff like that. If it's not comfortable, you should stop doing it. So you get used to it slowly over time if this is something you want to develop for yourself. Some people are just going to be automatically going to be able to do it. Women are going to have an easier time than men. Some women can jump right into full lotus and it's nothing at all, and they could sit there for hours. And if you can do that, that's great, because it gives you can basically sit wherever you want. You don't need to carry anything with you. You don't need to have furniture. You don't need to have objects which you're taking care of and trying to get to last and have long life. And also, when you're meditating, it allows you to fully relax, right? When you can really sit in a stable position and feel like you don't have to have a lot of effort to hold yourself up. And it's also, your connection to the ground is a very steady, solid, comfortable, calmness. You know, there's nothing happening there, but it's obviously there. You know, it's a very good ground to be able to meditate, to be able to sit on the ground cross-legged. So anyways, you know, if that's something that you can do, I say, you know, well, you know, your situation is going to be unique to you, right? I say make sure you don't hurt yourself. I horribly hurt myself, and I've seen other people hurt themselves, so don't be silly about it. But you know, it is, in my opinion, I'm very glad, super appreciative of the fact that I can basically just sit down anywhere I want comfortably, right? And I'm just sitting there for, you know, I've been sitting right here. I've been listening. I was listening to something before this, you know, for like almost an hour, and I didn't move my legs, and I wasn't uncomfortable. So I'll show you, this is kind of a recent discovery. So you basically, for me, the legs kind of go out wide, right? In the ones I was just showing you, right? The lotuses, your legs are kind of almost straight out. With this, it's more like more out this way, and your heel is kind of closer to your groin, right? This is actually right into my groin, right? And so now I'm going to bring this foot and I'm going to set it on top of this foot, and you kind of have to play with it to get it so that the ankle coming up and the ankle going down kind of miss each other, but your feet are kind of still resting. Now when I'm like this, I feel like I can actually kind of push my you know, sternum, my stomach out, you know, kind of curve my back, and that's actually a really important thing. That gives you a lot of stability. So yeah, basically I've been working on this for a long time in my life, and I finally got to the point where I feel like I can pretty much sit indefinitely. You know, my knees will get a little bit sore if I'm sitting for hours on end, but generally it's not a problem. So, and it's a really nice thing to have developed. Like, I'm really glad that I made that a priority. So if that's something you're interested in, I recommend it, but also definitely be careful. So anyways, talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider sharing it. If you'd like to help me out in a more substantial way, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/gift. And if you'd like to have a one-on-one conversation with me, whether publicly or privately, you can learn how to do so at cahlen.org/one-on-one. Thanks again for watching.